Hey you guys, I just got back to the boat. It's been several weeks since I've been here. I just can't get up here to visit as often as I want. It's nearly 8 hours each way, so I've got to take a long weekend. I've got 2 full days to mess around on the boat. I have things I want to do, and now that it's almost 9 o'clock and I'm just off the road, I'm not sure what those are. Hey, well, there's some really good news. I've happened to have sold the Tanzer 22, and that was a really quick deal. I put it up on Craigslist on a Tuesday, and it was sold Saturday morning. So that boat is now gone, and I can focus on this boat. So the downside of that, of course, is that I've taken a lot of gear off of the other boat, and I brought it to this boat. So I've got an extra anchor, and I've got some extra line, and I've got this and that. Not too much stuff, but it starts weighing down this. So anyways, one of the first things I want to do on this boat this weekend is find out why it's listing to port. I believe it's because I have 2 Firefly batteries sitting on a shelf on the port side right against the hull. And that'll certainly do it. They're close to 75 pounds each. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to empty out that cockpit, disconnect those 2 batteries, and move them inboard or maybe to starboard, and just see how the boat sits. See if that is actually the cause. I can't find anything else that's super heavy. The problem with loading up the boat with all this gear from the Tanzer 22 is that now I don't know where. I'm just trying to find space for stuff. It's not real well organized. Like right behind you is just it's the quarter berth that's now just full of stuff. Anyways, that's really it. I mean, I don't want to do a whole lot. I don't want to go crazy this weekend. I want to take the boat out. That's it. So it's about 9 p.m. I said I'm still jittery from the road, but I'm just going to put some stuff away and do some reading for a while and get some sleep if I can. And we'll be back at it tomorrow morning. It's Friday morning. I'm trying to empty the water tank. This is going to take too long. Let's see if I can disconnect this hose up here, creating a siphon, and just dump it into the bilge here. Yeah, I'm afraid it's only hung on by cable wraps, cable ties. Okay, I'm not prepared to do this right now, so. Well, my exterior repair did not work. I don't know if you could see that. We got some water dripping down here. It's dripping into the cup right there. So I probably have to replace that gland outside, which is just part of the deal. It's fine. It's the only leak I can find on the boat, so it's not that bad. But I don't want to I need to ramp up to this kind of thing and make sure I have all the equipment in place in the time on a weekend or a visit that isn't quite so overcast and rainy. It's not raining right now, and it shouldn't rain the rest of the day, but frankly, when I'm here for such a short period of time, what I really want to do is take the boat out. And so these minor leaks, yeah, it's important to take care of, but again, it's just a day where I need more of a windless day with a day or 2 of nice sun to get up there and replace that, do it right, and be done with it. One of the things I want to do is I want to scrape the sides, the top side on the starboard side of the boat. It's got this slick of gross, I don't know, oil or something like that. One of the other things I really want to do on the boat is to adjust the packing gland for the propeller shaft. It does still use a packing gland. It doesn't use a dripless. In the past, it had been dripping quite a bit. I'm going to look at that again today a little bit more closely. I tried adjusting it months ago, and was unable to do so. But there's a fair amount of corrosion on the on that packing gland. So I'm gonna get down there with a wire brush and some solvent, what have you, and try to get that cleaned up and see if I can move it just to pack it down a little bit and adjust it so that when the propeller shaft is running, I get more like a few drips a minute, and when it's not running, maybe a drip a minute, or yeah, thereabouts. So that's the scum I'm talking about, right there down toward the water line. It's just nasty, and this is the side of the boat you see when you approach. So okay, that's a little bit better. And I'm not using any soap. I don't like to do that here. This water was so nice. Okay, so things are empty. Here are the two batteries, like I said. So if you're coming in here, we have two of these Firefly batteries that are right against the hull. So I'm going to go ahead and take some pictures, disconnect all the electrics, and then pull those out, put them in the cockpit sole, and see what comes of it. Well, here at least they used some shrink tubing. On the other side they did not. So someone wanted to do the right thing. No major corrosion or anything like that. I'm gonna unstrap it first. I'm gonna show you these straps too, because while the straps themselves aren't bad, I don't think they're great, and pretty sure they're held down by plastic. This is what I have. These of course came with the boat. I was hoping that this was going to tell me something. Oh, 116 amp hours at 20-hour rate. 116 amp hours. I can use half, so between the two I've got 116. Here's the bed. It's okay. It could probably use some reinforcing up top here. It is tabbed to the hull. This is what I'm talking about. This is just plastic right here. There's two of them, so that's okay, but still, just plastic. So if we took a hit and the boat was rolled over, was knocked down to starboard, then those batteries could well come loose, and now I'm in a lot more trouble because of it. I can't say that in the very near term. I'm going to be taking this into conditions where I might get turned over. I'm nervous enough taking this thing out of the marina for fear of hitting something else, but still, if it's going to be done, it should be done properly, I think. That's what I think. I don't always do it though, so I'm part of the problem. Let's go ahead and go across the way over this way and find out how the boat sits, see if it still lists. You'll see that it actually is listing to starboard just a little bit right now. Interesting. I mean, the boat only displaces, less than 5,200 pounds. It's just over 5,100 pounds. So not too much. But let me go ahead and put those batteries back on the port side rail and see what kind of effect that has. Okay, so I just put them on the port side rail there a little bit. You can see it's pretty flat. It is going to port just a little bit. I carry a lot of stuff in that port side cockpit, so I think I've got to find some other solution to try to keep it level. If I fill the water tank, I think that will go a long way. The water tank sits a little further inboard on the starboard side, so right now this is pretty nitpicky. I don't mind what it's doing right now, but before I started making these investigations, it was listing pretty strongly to port. So I mean, when it comes down to it, what I have to do is I have to find a way to make use of that quarter berth so I can just kind of even out the distribution of weight in this boat. The trouble, I think, with the 25D as a cruising boat is that they've dedicated so much room to the head, and there's not a lot of places to store things except for in the cockpit locker on the port side, in the quarter berth on the starboard side. You know, we got below the settees, which are pretty good, but they're so small. They're very shallow. They're not very easily accessed. So, yeah, I don't know. I'd like to make use of the head space a little bit more, better use of it. It's just not readily accessible with the compression post up there. You know, forget about the hanging clothing there. You know, you've got to go by the compression post every time you go in and out. Not a big deal, but you know, it seems like most of the stuff is on the left-hand side of the boat, the port side of the boat. You got pretty good storage under here. Again, it's not great, but it's something. Then you've got fuel and liquids and food that want to be near the galley. Not necessarily have to be, of course. And then you've got the port side locker here, which is just stuffed with, you know, with rope and things that can be outside, wet, extra anchor and rode and chemicals, and you know. And so then what do you put on the starboard side? There's some storage under that settee, but then you really have you've got the quarter berth, and you got this small storage under here, which is just a tray and a very small area back. But of course you don't want the weight back in the back end or to the outboard, and there's no room. That cabin sole doesn't come up except for right under at the bottom of the ladder here. So I don't think it's ideal. I don't think it's ideally set up for any kind of real cruising or heavy weather. As well built as it is, I think it's really just a coastal, you know, a few days out. Could certainly make some changes, but I loathe to make changes to a boat that's already so pretty, essentially. You know, because I won't make it prettier. That's not my forte. Okay, I've got to go down, and I've got to be head first to get back in here. Where's my headlamp? I got some tools, some gloves. I got these wrenches, which they're not the exact wrenches I need, but they should be okay. I'm concerned this is a little small. But I got some cleaning supplies. I'm going to try using Simple Green first off, but if that doesn't work, I'll throw some liquid wrench on it. Let me get my headlamp. Okay, here I am, as cozy as I can be. My feet above my head. And this is what I'm trying to get to down here. Some light. So, this is the packing gland right here. You got this stern tube, and I think these are probably tightened down too much. They shouldn't be bulging like that, but in fact, I think it might even be cutting that hose, which is really not cool. And these types of hose clamps are not very good, or not the best, let me put it that way. Anyways, this is the packing gland, this whole green thing. You can see it drip right there. Let's see how much it drips. Oh, it's really not dripping much right now. It was dripping a lot more before. Oh, it's really not dripping much at all. Actually, probably had to drip a little bit more than that. But the important thing is that it drips, you know, a few times a minute when the shaft is turning, because there you go. So that's like once every minute and a half or so. Okay. So that was the drip there. Okay, there it is. So that's right at 1 minute.
So I don't think I'm gonna do anything with that. I'm gonna go ahead and I'll get this engine started here, and I'll have a closer look at it. But honestly, it was doing a lot more previously. It just isn't anymore. I want to try to find a way to manage this water though. I think I'm gonna use some sort of capillary thing and maybe run a piece of cloth down into this area, and then have it drape over down into the bilge, so that this gets sucked out more or less. It won't be dry, but it won't be an inch and a half deep or whatever it is now. Okay, so I've got the locker a little bit more organized. I got the batteries back where they belong. I put these lines up. They had been hanging out in the bottom before, and I made it so that this stern anchor could come out relatively quick. And this hanging here is the handle for the emergency manual bilge pump. I have it dangling there. Lighter stuff back here. That's an empty 5-gallon diesel tank. Where the sailbags, the mast climber down below there, and this is the pump, the foot pump for the dinghy. I try to put the heavier stuff here up inboard and forward, and I just have a bunch of life preservers here that I'll just keep. They don't do very well in here, but that's okay. I'll hang on to those. That way we're in compliance with anything. I have inflatables, but of course you have to wear inflatables. And I've got 3 throwables. I don't know, silly, I should just get rid of them. 3 throwables plus the life sling, so I really probably should just ditch them. So maybe I will. Just get rid of 2 of them, and I'll just hang on to this. I bought this brand new, so it should be okay. Put that down in there, and I'll take this anchor away, and I'm not sure what to do with the cleaning supplies, honestly, but anyways, it's a good start. At least the weather is starting to come up really nicely, so that's cool.